Rome, Italy, nicknamed the Eternal City that was established in 753 BC. In the ancient world, it was the successful capital of the Roman Empire and is regarded as one of the birthplaces of Western civilization. Today, it's the capital city of Italy and one of the most visited cities by tourists every year, with so many famous historic sites to see like the Colosseum, Trevi Fountain, and Vatican City, along with the amazing Italian food. It's no wonder why the city usually has a top spot on anyone's bucket list. So let me help you plan the perfect trip to Rome with this 3-day itinerary. First, I'll start by pulling up my Google map. Anyone who watches my channel knows I make Google Maps for every trip that I go on and every itinerary video that I post. So if you'd like to create your own Google map, check out this video. I've separated the 3 days by color. Obviously, you can do them in any order you want, but for this video, we'll do day 1 blue, day 2 green, and day 3 orange. So you'll start off the day at the Colosseum, arguably the most iconic site to see in all of Rome. And if you watched my video last week of the 5 things to avoid in Rome, you'll know how I feel about buying a ticket and going inside. So either just admire it from the outside and have your Lizzie McGuire, this is what dreams are made of moment and photo shoot, or also add on going inside if that's important to you. From here, you can head up the hill to see Domus Aurea and the Baths of Trajan, then head up Via dei Fori Imperiali to see the Roman Forum, which is an area filled with a ton of Roman ruins. It's a rectangular plaza in a valley between the Palatine and Capitoline hills that served as a hub for political, religious, social, and commercial activities. I personally wouldn't pay to enter this area as you can pretty much see all of it when you're on the street looking down at it. And then across the street you have the Forum of Augustus, which is another area filled with ruins. It was built in 2 BC. Yes, you heard that correctly, 2 BC, so crazy, to provide more space for legal proceedings and to house a temple to Mars. The Forum was also a gallery of sculptures depicting Roman history. And if you keep going up the street, you'll be at the Piazza Venezia, where you can see the stunning Altar della Patria, which is a large national monument built between 1885 and 1935 to honor Victor Emmanuel II, the first king of a unified Italy. From here, you'll head down Via del Teatro de Marcello to see the Teatro de Marcello, an ancient Roman theater. Then continue on to the river to see the Tempio Maggiore, a synagogue built in 1904, and then the Portico de Ottavio, which is the ruins of an ancient Roman walkway. Day 2, I included Campo dei Fiori on here, but again, if you watched last week's video of what to avoid in Rome, this was a main point. I think it's an overly hyped, lackluster market and I wouldn't recommend going, but I know some people feel very strongly and they would like to visit. So if that's you, you'll start the day here since the market is only open from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and you'll do these pins backwards. Otherwise, if you're okay with skipping it, we'll actually start the day up at the Piazza dei Popolo. From here, you'll walk down Via del Babuino, which is a high-end shopping street in Rome, and honestly probably one of the cleanest, nicest, and most charming areas in all of Rome in my opinion. I'm not a shopper and I definitely don't have the budget for these high-end shops, but I loved walking down this street and this area as a whole. Since you'll notice the area you were in on day 1 is extremely run down, filled with graffiti and trash, it's really nice to be somewhere super clean in Rome. The street ends at the Spanish Steps, which, surprise, surprise, is another thing from last week's video, so definitely not my fave, but you can stop, snap a photo, and keep going to the Trevi Fountain. And please do be prepared for insane crowds here, like actually insane, but I do think it's one of the most beautiful fountains I've ever seen. It's so special and so worth seeing. We were able to grab a nice spot on the higher level to get some photos without people in them, but if you'd prefer some pictures right next to the water without people in them, you'd have to go at sunrise. It's kind of the only way, so do keep that in mind. From here, it's time for a gelato break at my favorite gelato shop in all of Rome, Giolitti. This place is absolutely amazing. The gelato is so creamy. I'd recommend recommend grabbing it and eating it outside while you stand because you will have to pay a service charge if you do want to eat inside at one of their tables. From here, you'll head to the Pantheon, which unfortunately has some ugly construction in front of it right now that kills the vibe. And normally I would never recommend eating in a tourist attraction plaza because they're super pricey. But a few spots in this plaza were offering great happy hour deals on spritz drinks specifically. So we did sit there for a little bit to rest, enjoy a drink, well, water for me, and enjoy the views. Then you can end the day at Piazza Navona, snapping some photos and heading down one of the many alleyways in this area to find some dinner. The further you go towards the river and away from the tourist attractions, the more affordable and probably authentic it will be. And last but certainly not least, we are at day 3, which is the Orange Pins. You're starting off the day in Vatican City, which is technically another country, so you can add that to your total list of countries you've visited. I'd buy a ticket for the Vatican museums online for a morning entrance time, and you'll start your day exploring the museum, which is literally like a maze and has so many amazing works of art to see, and they basically lead you like cattle in one direction throughout the entire museum, which I personally didn't like, but I do understand why they did it. They want everyone to follow the same path and end their experience with the most famous attraction, which is Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. You are not allowed to take pictures or videos here, and you will get yelled at if you try. You also can only enter if both your knees and your shoulders are covered, so if you're wearing a tank top, make sure you bring a scarf or a shawl to cover up. Once you're finished with the museum, you'll exit and walk along the Vatican City walls to get to the other side of Vatican City, which is St. Peter's Square and Basilica. If you are here on Sunday around midday or Wednesday at 10:30 a.m., you will be able to see the Pope, which is cool, but it also makes it way more crowded, so do be aware of that and you'll have to go through security. This square is stunning and surrounded by columns all around you, and St. Peter's Basilica is the main highlight right there in the center, which you can enter for free. When we were there, the line was completely wrapped around the entire area of columns. I guarantee it would have taken hours to get in, so we did opt to skip it. I did go inside on my 2016 trip and it is so beautiful. Once you're ready to leave Vatican City, you can head to Castel Sant'Angelo, which was initially commissioned by the Roman Emperor Hadrian as a mausoleum for himself and his family. The popes later used this building as a fortress and a castle, and now it is a museum. Next, either hop on the bus or take the nice walk along the river down to the Trastevere neighborhood. I know the pin shows that it's all the way down here, but it's actually this whole yellow section that you want to go to. It's an area or a neighborhood filled with so many bars and restaurants, so you can relax here, grab some food and drinks, and explore all the little streets. When you're finished eating, head up to Janiculum Hill, I'm definitely not saying that right, to catch the sunset with all of Rome down below you. On my visit in 2016, the sky was literally purple and pink. It felt like a watercolor, and it's still to this day one of my favorite sunsets ever. There you have it, 3 full days in Rome. If you haven't checked out my tips on things you need to know before you visit Rome, make sure to do that now.